Hey folks, just wanted to go down memory lane here of the uniforms over my 30 years of service. And again, it's not all about me. I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of history lesson here. So I've got a display going on, and I'll go ahead and start with the BDU era. That was back in the early 90s for me. I joined in December of 90. These are still starched and pressed, hanging in the closet. They were rather new when I got my E7 Sergeant First Class rank. I think this was around 2007. I haven't tried them on yet for fit, but they probably do still fit. Love the BDUs. These pockets were kind of annoying and useless, the bottom pockets. The buttons definitely helped with discipline. And then we always had this, this is for your entropine injector from your nuclear, biological, chemical attack defense. It's not a pen pocket. You would always get busted out for carrying an ink pen there. So we carry an ink pen right here, typically. And then we go into the desert. In 2003, when I deployed, we got the DCUs. You see the bush hat, the patrol cap, and then my top. I don't know where the pants are at. I have them around somewhere. One thing about the DCUs to note, so headgear, we had black berets going on as well at the time. I would have to carry three sets of headgear at times because for formation, you never knew what the first sergeant was going to be wearing. And that was just the way it was. And if you were wearing the wrong thing, you would get dropped for push-ups. So that's just how it worked back then. And then we switched over to the ACU. Now, these are just the pants. I don't know where my tops are at. But big thing with the ACUs, we went to all Velcro. A bunch of Velcro, which was nice. You're kind of like a kid in a candy store at first with Velcro. But then it starts snagging on things. Your patches would start hooking onto someone else or your buddy, and you'd lose a patch here and there. The Velcro is really nice, though, for unit patches, because unit patches can change more frequently than you'd realize. So you wouldn't have to go out and get stuff sewn on, especially as a reservist or a guardsman, where you got to like try and find a seamstress at a local shop that is decent at what they do to meet the Army standard of sewing everything on. Big thing was to have your name tapes right on the line here. Sew on rank had to be right. Inch up from on the collar. And again, if any of this was wrong, you got dropped for push-ups multiple times. There was no questions asked. It's just the way it was. So that would be considered hazing today, and hazing has been removed from the Army. So I think hazing was removed in the mid to late 90s, but we still did it in the early 2000s. All right, so today, modern, we got the OCPs that replaced kind of a blend of the ACU and the BDU. Everybody says that this is the best uniform to date. I can't argue with that. On both the ACU and the OCPs, they got rid of those useless pockets down here. You got the Velcro going on here. You can do Velcro all over. I got my stuff sewn on by choice because it gets annoying dealing with the Velcro when you're switching uniforms. Particularly, I found that as a CSM. Sometimes I would wear all three uniforms in one day, being the OCPs, the PTs, and the dress uniform. You only got so many hours to go in and do the Superman change and be back out to facilitate among the troops. I threw in this old web gear here. This was during the BDU era. Came in the late 90s. It was a big, nice update from the old LCE. I don't have an LCE to show you, but I just thought I'd include it since I found it. So then we go over to let's get down to the boots here. So you got the left to right here, you got the black boots. Those are my original basic combat training boots. One style fits all. They got the old tire sole on them. Okay, and these are pretty slick on snow and ice. Not real good grip and traction. And then you've got the speed laces. The speed laces were a big upgrade from the post-Vietnam era, which was really good. It was really talked about. And then I got the Matterhorns, man. I tell you, my first unit, we're out in the cold in the woods, and I couldn't wait to buy myself a pair of Matterhorns. They didn't issue these, or Gore-Tex boots. Those suckers hold up to anything. I could still wear all these boots. They last forever. And I got the old Kiwi stuff out here for effect. And then we got into the desert era. And these are my basic combat boot replacement versions for the desert that I wore largely in Kuwait and Iraq. And then we get over to my Cadillacs, my Danner boots. Modern day for the OCPs. These things are really Cadillacs, man. They got a cushioned sole. Now you got to buy these. These don't get issued, and these are a good $200 pair of boots, so they're not cheap. And then the socks. I always liked the OD green cotton socks. They were my favorite. They felt the best on the ankles. And then when you'd road march, you'd put the dress socks. Get a pair of these dress socks, thin black socks. Underneath is a second layer to protect from blistering. And that's just how it worked. Here's an old dingy pair of the cotton socks. Yeah, they get pretty rough. You'd get some toe fungus in there too. It was a lot of fun after wearing them, you know, for several hours. So now we'll go on over to the PT uniform. I included the good old PT belt, and I'll get to that in a minute. So I don't have my old cotton PTs from the early 90s. Those things, they stretched out and wore out pretty quick from basic training and everything, and crawling through the sand and the rocks and stuff. So these came out shortly after in the early 90s, and these are nice. I really always liked this PT uniform. And I don't say, you know, we don't always compliment the Army uniforms very well. We're certainly quick to complain about it as a soldier. They're reflective. They're comfortable. They got the armpit vents here, okay, that I found really handy. Then the old PT belt, man. So in the early, when I first joined the cotton, you know, there was no reflection on the cotton PTs whatsoever. Okay, and so they come out with these things, and they were all reflective, and the PT belt. They added the PT belt. And then you had to have the PT belt for even dumb times, like during the daytime, ground guiding a vehicle, you know, whatever the sergeant major would come up with. And one of my buddies on here likes to always pick on me about the PT belt. I didn't come up with the idea, but I get the blame for being an NCO, and it's all good. Then we went to these babies. I don't know, just a few years ago, it seems like. I'm not sure what year. The Sergeant Major of the Army is heavily behind these decisions, and they're not reflective whatsoever. In fact, there were about 3 soldiers standing on Fort Benning, I want to say in 2014, and I almost hit them. I was driving through, it was right before the crack of dawn, and these things. So then, on top of that, they have now done away with the requirement of the PT belt during daytime hours. So you can wear this thing without any reflection whatsoever. I guess it's $3 cheaper. It is more comfortable. It's softer to wear than these, but these are more durable. And I miss the armpit vents in these. Another thing is these pockets are not as deep like these were for my wallet and my phone. Okay? So there's your PT uniform story for now. All right, let me get on to the dress uniforms, okay? So we had the old pickle suit, the Class A's. And what I loved about the pickle suit was how stiff it was. It's very heavy polyester. And you hang this sucker in a garment bag for 20 years, and it'll come right out and be ready to wear, I guarantee it. I'm a testament to that. Now, if you put it in a duffel bag, anything's going to get ruined in a duffel bag. Give it time. So we switched from that to this ASU, Army Service Uniform, and you see the uniform, the material is thinner. Now, I guess I can go spend $1,000 at Marlowe White and get a stiffer polyester uniform version of this, but this is Army issue. I don't like buying stuff. And what I like about it is they got away from the sew-on patch, unit patch. I like that. And I like the color. I mean, blue is my favorite color. but I just never really cared for the wear of it. The material's always been thinner. And so the way it laid on me, I didn't always appreciate. But I did finally get the jacket that fit better along the way of it. Now that, of course, they're going to another Army green uniform, representative from, I believe, World War II. Pinks and Greens is the nickname for it. So, and again, the Sergeant Major of the Army is heavy behind these decisions. The dress uniform ties to recruiting as well, and what we look like. Do we look like the Army wearing the blue? Okay, and that's kind of one of the, if you're looking at the back of a soldier in the blue uniform, you might think they're Navy or Air Force, and it may not speak well for recruiting. So, folks, there you have it. You know, that's, I guess, about it here on the uniforms, but I just wanted to share that with you from, you know, from the opinion of Bill Brownback, or according to Bill Brownback. Many arguments to be had over the years, and fun discussions about the uniforms and what we like and what we think and all of that. So hope you enjoyed it. Have a great Sunday and a great New Year.